I'm delighted to say that we are now joined by Chetan Narula, who was part of the commentary team for the first two Test matches and is no doubt enjoying India's remarkable comeback. I say remarkable, I mean, it was not unexpected, but Rohit Sharma clearly didn't just want to win in Rajkot, Chetan. He wanted to win as large and as painfully as he possibly could. Yashasvi Jaiswal was extraordinary, but yeah, I mean Rohit wanted that really big statement win, didn't he? And he got it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you remember, the first test match we had discussed about how India were not really prepared at, what baseball would throw at them. And when they caught what they threw at them, they were probably not executing their plans very well. It's been almost a month since then. And the Indian team has a bit of a habit of starting slowly in long series, trying to figure out what the opposition is doing, especially when an opposition is like this, which tends to throw a lot of surprises or is rather unpredictable. So from that perspective, I think India now know what to expect from baseball. They know that they're going to play in a certain manner, um, with a certain intensity. And now I think India know how to get the better of that mannerism of baseball, so as to say. I think the only thing missing from India's armory was, to stop Zach Crawley and Ben Duckett with the new ball, the way they get off to very, very quick starts. And then they did that. They improved that in the second innings as well. So yeah, if Rohit Sharma was looking for a statement win, I think he got it. I think this is, in my memory, the worst beating that baseball has taken, and they should go back to the drawing boards because, look, I'm a baseball convert. I love baseball, having witnessed it firsthand in the first two test matches. Um, it's a high risk maneuvering of cricket styles, intensity, mannerisms, whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, I understand the no regrets approach, but it should not stop you from using your brain and playing the situation. That's my only thing against baseball. That's the one thing that I would say is still remaining. So if England can manage to, get over that, probably this is going to be an even better series with two test matches remaining. But yes, what a comprehensive win for India.
Yeah, I agree with England could have been smarter, Chetan, but I think to break the opening partnership, I don't think it was anything down to India. I think it was down to Kumar Del Messina and Joel Wilson, their ability to stick the finger up was that. But I'm not bitter against umpire's call, but I think I've said it a couple of times now. Rohit Sharma, I think, has got the grips of how to combat England's positive approach, and in Jaiswal they've got an absolute superstar. But can we give England credit here for changing India's mentality, Chetan? Because with Rahul out, with Virat Kohli out, it could easily have gone and possibly would have gone in the past, gone back to Pujara. But no, you go to Sarfaraz, who another little jack in the box in the middle of the order who runs the ball around in a positive manner. Is England having an effect on India's selection for the test matches, and more of a positive outcome of the way they're looking at playing?
I mean, I really do not want to disagree with you. And with all due respect, I have to say no. I would rather give all the credit to Ajit Agarkar, who's the chief selector. Because for the last 2.5 years, India has been on the cusp of this transition. I personally felt that dumping Cheteshwar Pujara was a bit unfair. But it was after the World Test Championship when Rohit Sharma clearly said that if I stay on as Test captain, I want my team to be batting in a certain way. Pujara used to take up a lot of deliveries, used to take up a lot of time to get going. It was not sitting well with the team management. It had been happening for the last 2, 3 years. Um, I don't want to blame Pujara. Like I said, my personal opinion is that he was unfairly dubbed. So this transition was waiting to happen. It has been pushed across, probably because of the unavailability of Virat Kohli, the injuries that Indian middle order has had, Shreyas Iyer not using his brains when batting. It should have been Shreyas Iyer batting that way. Sarfaraz Khan showed how you can smash spinners while not throwing away your wickets every 10 minutes. Ideally, that should have been Shreyas Iyer because he's a fantastic player against spin. but he got punished because he was throwing his wicket away when he was presented with the opportunity to cement his side. So, look, these youngsters, you name Yashasvi Jaiswal, Shubman Gill, probably a bit touch reserved, but Sarfaraz Khan, that's how he bats. He has a point to prove. These guys, this is how they bat. They are coming prepared from the IPL factory. They have the experience of facing international bowlers. They are from the modern day school of cricket, where they're not just going to hang around. They're going to play their shots. So while I do agree to a certain extent that India has changed some of its plans to cater to England, I'm not sure they deserve that much credit. Let's call it what it is. They've just lost by 400 runs. Let's give all the credit right now to India.
Okay, talking of the IPL, there's a fascinating story brewing in Indian cricket that I'm sure you'll be able to shed some light on. Um, and that is the participation of players in the Ranji Trophy. Now, the IPL has been built up to be the greatest tournament in the world, and it is. It's the most valuable, certainly. And you've got the situation now where Jay Shah, the secretary of the BCCI, is warning players that there would be severe implications for those who refuse to play in the Ranji Trophy, prioritizing, in other words, prioritizing the IPL. Um, but isn't that exactly what Jay Shah and the BCCI wanted when they created this behemoth of a tournament? The IPL is, after all, the greatest, largest, most enormous cricket tournament in the history of the game. And Ishan Kishan has, I don't know what the situation is there, but he's apparently refused to play Ranji Trophy, and a few other players seem to be following in his lead. So it's IPL, and I mean that's what the BCCI wanted when they built it.
Not entirely. I mean, Neil, look, even during the pandemic years when the IPL happened at all costs, they took the tournament midway to the UAE, again hosted in the UAE. The red ball cricket was happening. I mean, we did have a caravan style Ranji tournament happening. All the rest of the tournaments, the white ball tournament stopped. The IPL and the Ranji tournaments were happening. The India A tours perhaps stopped. Um, but the Ranji Trophy is always given that importance, is always given due credence. Sarfaraz Khan, he's come from the Ranji Trophy. He has no record so as to speak of in the IPL. His resurgence has come from the Ranji Trophy. Yashasvi Jaiswal is a product both of the IPL and of the Ranji Trophy. He's got a mountain of runs in the Ranji Trophy as well. The message that is being sent out is probably against the selectors who were in place for the last couple of years, who gave more credence to performances in the IPL and picked players based on IPL performances and not so much on domestic cricket, which is something that this BCCI management is trying hard to change. You look at what Ajit Agarkar is trying to do as the chairman of selectors. He's giving due credence to both IPL performances as also to the Ranji performances. The case of Ishan Kishan is entirely different. Something happened on that tour of South Africa where he was not very happy with the selection of some players in the squad, where he probably felt threatened and used that as an excuse to walk out and say, okay, you know what, I'm not mentally ready at the moment. I think he's not being advised properly at this moment, because if he thinks that he can don pads and go and do some wicket keeping drills, but not play Ranji cricket and then walk back into the Indian team, that's not going to happen. Um, Players have picked fights with the BCCI in the past. They never come out on top against the BCCI. So, somebody is not really advising Ishan Kishan very well at the moment. Some other player, somebody like a Hardik Pandya, he's just coming back. He doesn't play too much first class cricket. Krunal Pandya, maybe he should be playing first class cricket. Last year, he had some issues, some personal stuff with a couple of players over the last couple of years. So I don't know his reasons for not playing it. But again, players who take on the BCCI in such manner, they do not come out on top. And I sincerely do hope that Ishan Kishan, gets his head right and somebody starts advising him properly to come back and play red ball cricket. I mean, the IPL will always be there, but due credence needs to be given to the Ranji Trophy at all times.
And what about this week, Chetan? Fourth Test match. Do India leave Bumrah out? Do the rest Jadeja? Is K Rahul coming back in? Where do you see India? Do they make two changes? Do they make three changes? Do the Axar come in for Jadeja after what was obviously a player of the match performance, but carrying a little bit of an injury? What's going to be the balance of the Indian side?
From what I'm hearing today, KL Rahul is fit and he'll be back for this fourth test match in Ranchi. So I expect Rajat Patidar to be left out. Sarfaraz Khan, you can't drop him at this moment, with those two half centuries. Jasprit Bumrah is almost 95 to 98% certain to be rested from the Ranchi match. They might opt to play another pacer, Mukesh Kumar, because they like to play two pacers, as we have often discussed, and then not use the second pacer, although the second pacer was quite a handful in this test match. I think they will go to Ranchi and see how the pitch is going to behave and then maybe take a call. But again, I would be very surprised if they don't play a second pacer, because that's just not the way Rahul Dravid, orchestrates his team combination. So I do believe they'll still play two pacers, Siraj and probably Mukesh Kumar. And then Jadeja, depending on his fitness, will continue playing.
Final word, Chetan, on Yashasvi Jaiswal. The whole of the rest of the world is now sort of sitting up and going, "Oh my goodness me, a star is born." But he's obviously been around for a number of years now, and maybe people didn't watch the IPL and haven't seen him score runs there. But did you and your colleagues and your friends, did you know that he might be capable of this kind of level of performance? I mean, he's got 100 and two double hundreds in his first five Test matches, and it's not just the sixes and the fours, and I mean, he had 18 off his first 50 balls in Rajkot, so he's obviously a very, very fine thinker as well as a ball striker.
Well, we did expect big things from Yashasvi Jaiswal. There's just no doubt about it. I mean, he has, like I mentioned earlier, he has the runs in the Ranji Trophy. He's learned a lot from the IPL. That one season where he didn't score runs and Joss Butler was scoring runs, I think we had that conversation. I think he's learned a lot from Joss Butler, where to pick his moment and come out with those big shots. Just, he's become a clutch player all of a sudden. It's been in the works for the last 2 years. I think that's the big change that I've seen in his batting personally. So I think he's a sharp thinker. He knows when to take his chances, not just in scoring shots, but also when he's in such great form, he just wants to keep batting. And I think that can be seen in the way that he did come out to bat. The next day he got treatment on his back and he just came out to bat and scored those extra 100 runs. Um, you know, he's he's exceeded expectations in a way, because he was the first in this transition to come along. Shubman Gill moved down to number three. He came to open the innings, scored those runs in West Indies, but the jury was still out. And we thought, okay, you know what? He still needs to go to South Africa, to Australia, to England. And the South Africa tour was coming up. Didn't go really well because the pitches were really tough. But then England at home, that was going to be another big test. And he's passed it with flying colours, more than flying colours. And if I can just say so, everybody's in love with Yashasvi Jaiswal. I was flying from Vizag to Mumbai after the second test match. He came from business class to economy class to be with his friends. Everybody got up to take a picture with him. And he's like, I don't mind. I don't mind. These are just a few pictures. There's just not going to be few pictures anymore. Everybody, wherever he goes, is going to want to take a picture with him. His life has changed. Indian cricket has changed for the better with the arrival of Yashasvi Jaiswal. And along with Shubman Gill and Sarfaraz Khan, I think they might just spearhead India's transition over the next 2-3 years.